All right, everybody, welcome to the What's Next podcast, where we sit down with real estate agents, business professionals, and entrepreneurs to talk about tech, real estate, and everything interesting, really. I'm your host, Max Bergstrom, and this is What's Next. Let's go! We sit down with real estate agents and talk about how the industry is changing, thriving with technology. We look at strategy. We love it. Welcome to What's Next podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to a very special episode of the What's Next podcast. My pleasure to be here with Mr. Benny Charles. He's a 17-year real estate industry veteran, and he's got an unmatched reputation for excellence and integrity. Benny, thanks for being on the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you. What an amazing introduction.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Casey put me through years of voice training.
You did a great job.
Just kidding. He didn't. But I don't know. I've been told I have the voice for it. So it's nice to be able to do this. I really enjoy it, and I appreciate you taking the time to come down here and have a chit-chat with us.
I feel honored. You guys asked me to wear light clothing. Would pink work?
Yeah. I think it works perfectly.
Okay.
And that's also a first. Have we had a pink shirt?
Actually, we did.
Oh, did we?
It was like salmon.
Salmon color.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do like purple. I haven't done a pink one yet. I do have a pink shirt, but real men wear pink, they say.
I take pride in my pink shirts. I have like 10. Pink's my jam.
That's your jam. Absolutely. So. Well, I mean, you grew up here.
I grew up in North County, Escondido.
North County.
Yes.
Okay.
Have nothing but love for Escondido. You know, Escondido is always a stepchild. Was it San Diego? Is it not San Diego?
Yeah, I've heard.
Dude, we are the Mira Mesa of San Diego.
Okay. Okay.
Like right central located.
Mm-hmm.
Go north, go west, go south. So I got nothing but love for Escondido.
Yeah, I've lived there for about 8 months now, and there's lots of little hidden gems and cool spots. And I live kind of in by Kit Carson Park.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's weird though, you know, like I'm from back east in Midwest, and you know, like if you're in the city, it looks like the city, but out here you can like look like city, and then you take a turn down a road, and then all of a sudden it looks like you're in the country.
Dude, welcome to Escondido.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, wow, like this could be like a country road somewhere way out in the middle of nowhere, but there's a 7-Eleven like just right around the corner.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Well, you've got 4 kids.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you married your high school sweetheart.
I married the first girl I've ever kissed.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, you're great. Why? It's perfect.
Nice. And then you coach the kids' sports teams and things like that. I did a little bit of research, and you definitely you seem like you father at a very high level.
So my passion in life is coaching.
Okay.
I love coaching the kids. I love coaching rugby, football, flag football, 7 versus 7.
Rugby, huh?
Rugby. Oh, those guys are men of men.
Do they have kids rugby?
That's what it is.
It's kids rugby.
It starts in junior high. And my son, when he was a freshman, he was top 15 in the nation at his position.
Nice. That's crazy.
I was like blown away.
Yeah. Is it like violent? Like
it's the most violent sport you will ever encounter. But the best part is at the very end, you punch me in the face, I punch you in the face, and we shake hands and hug it out.
Right.
The most respectful sport you will ever see in your life is rugby. Mm-hmm. So I always have my kids do rugby, then tackle football, because that teaches you how to tackle.
Sure.
And if you can handle rugby, tackle football is nothing.
Wow. Yeah. See, I played football in junior high and then 9th and 10th grade. And then I discovered drugs and girls and stuff after that. So I quit. But, yeah, maybe edit that out. I don't know. No, we can leave it in.
Or you discovered the Samoan.
Hey, well, so did you do sports growing up too? Were you athletic growing up?
I mean, I was, however, 5'9". It go and take you so far. Mm-hmm. There's almost so much heart you could use before you But
you're were you always that built? I mean,
I was chunkier. My goal in life was the minute my kids got into high school, I didn't want to be the fat dad.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in shape for you little punks.
That's awesome. For you little punks.
Nice. I'm gonna be the dad. Like, oh, dude, your dad's freaking in shape. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no excuses. I will give my kid every tool they have.
Yeah.
But it's up to them.
Yep. I love that. How old are your kids?
Okay, so my oldest is 20, and he just passed his real estate license and his mortgage license. I told him,
right.
you need to understand mortgages to sell a home.
Yeah.
So he's 20, and he actually bypassed college and is going all in.
Cool.
And I really believe he's going to do amazing. Mm-hmm. My next kid is, he just turned 17, and he's going to go to the Air Force. And that, as a father, moms get scared. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited.
Yep.
I'm like, go serve this amazing country that we have, you know? And they're like, people are like, well, what if he dies? Well, if my son dies in the military, I'm a happy parent. My kid gave it all for you. Oh, then we got my princess. Oh, gosh. Just turned 16. No one told me this stuff. Like, this is the hardest thing in my life. Like, I am walking on eggshells with my little girl, who's not so little anymore, a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She's stunning. The most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. And she knows it. And she uses me. Mm-hmm. She abuses me. And I keep on, yes, princess, yes. And that's the worst.
Tony and I both have daughters.
Oh, how old are your daughters?
4.
3.
Okay, enjoy.
That's what everybody
That was
says.
my little baby girl.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you're turning into a little woman.
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to hang out with me anymore? Like, who's his boyfriend?
That's what everybody
That was
says.
my little baby girl.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you're turning into a little woman.
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to hang out with me anymore? Like, who's his boyfriend? Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm the funniest man in the world for her.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever I do is so funny.
Yo, you're the funniest man in the world to me, too.
Thanks, man.
But she has two older brothers
Yep.
who watch after
Yep,
her.
for sure.
But here's the thing. Her younger brother, my 12-year-old one, that dude has eyes on her like a hawk.
Really? The younger brother?
The younger brother.
Okay.
We were at dinner the other day, and she showed a text to her mom. She's like, hey, look, this guy texted me this text, and I don't like him. What do I do? My younger son said, put that kid on the phone right now. I want to talk to him. No one talks to my sister like this.
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, you are a champ.
Yeah.
So that's the youngest one. He's 12. He's the little flag football, 7 versus 7 football star. I don't do any tackle football until high school. Okay. I don't think, I think in junior high, the kids don't need to take that contact. And the truth is, when you're at that age, the bigger, stronger, faster kid wins. The coaches at that level, they just care about winning, not necessarily teaching the kids the right stuff. So I just don't trust the coaches that much. So I don't coach tackle football. Just relax, learn the right stuff through rugby. And once you enter high school, your body will catch up to the rest of the people, and it's a fair game. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can attest to that. I was a late bloomer, so I was like, real chubby and like short until I was like 15, and then like overnight I like
sprouted.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I was like, you ever had that like one friend in junior high who had like a full beard, and like a low voice, and you'd be like, hey, you want to come to my party? And he's like, I gotta go shave.
That's
you know
what
I mean?
happened when
I
turned 40.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Right. So yeah, I was a bit of a late bloomer, but yeah, well that's great. So I mean, it strikes me that you seem like you're real passionate about, family and values and community. And you were telling me this story before we came in here about some stuff that you were doing in the community with some of the homeless population, and if you could enlighten us about that. I thought that was very powerful, so I'd love to hear you share a little bit about that.
Okay, so I have a real estate coach, Tom Ferry. I don't know if anyone knows. Tom Ferry is the #1 real estate coach in America, in the world. And I joined them, and I've been a student of him for, I would say, 2.5 years now. So my coach and I, we got together, and I want to say local, like in Escondido, right? And we decided to make a community page called Everything Escondido. If you've never been on there, go there. I will accept.
Yeah.
But through Everything Escondido, a major topic was the homeless. And it's not just Escondido. It's every city, the homeless, right? And so we have people who are trying to help the homeless, and we have people who are saying, get them out of here. And so I came on there, and I was like, why don't we just ask them what they need. Everyone's telling them what they should do. Why don't we go to them and ask them what they need?
Right.
And so we got a videographer. My team and I, we went down there to Grape Day Park, which is known for the homeless people who hang out there. So we went there and we talked to a few people, but there's one person in particular. His name is Martin. He came in. He was about, I don't know his age. I would say 50s. This is the crazy part. Okay, Martin, the day before, he pretty much gave it up in life. He was kind of hurt. His teeth were missing. Mm-hmm. An older gentleman. He needed a walker. He just got kicked out of. I forgot which community was helping him, but he just got kicked out because his roommate said something about him, and he wasn't even given a chance to voice his opinion or to say, "Hey, no, I didn't do that." So, anyways, he was out in this corner. We saw him. We invited him. He told me his story, and I was talking to Martin, and I just gave him a voice, and he told us his whole story. And I said, "Hey, Martin, what's your end game? You got kicked out. What's your game plan?" And he looked at me and he said, "It's very simple. My game plan is I'm going to die."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I'm like, "Wait, what?" "That's my game plan, to die." And that broke my heart. I'm like, I'm here to help people. I'm not like a huge homeless person or huge this or huge that. Whoever I can help, I want to help. Mm-hmm. Okay? But his story broke my heart because this guy was like a good dude. And he just said he ran into a bunch of bad luck and it just spiraled downhill.
Yep.
And when does it stop?
Yep.
So I had a bunch of people reach in. I went to try to find Martin. I can't find Martin. I don't think he passed yet. But that broke my heart.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So then at the end, I want to compensate them for their time. The videographer who was charging me like $400 to do the video said, "Benny, I'm not going to charge you a penny." I said, "Okay, well, if you're not going to charge me the money I was going to pay you, I'm going to pass it forward." So I gave Martin like $200-300. He wouldn't even want to take the money. He said, "Benny, I get $125 from the government. It takes me $5 a day to survive. I don't need your money."
Yeah. So, well, why do you think he didn't want to take it?
Two things. The first is I think he was scared to take it and get robbed. The second, I think he thought a little bit that I was setting him up. The reason why I say this is the gal that brought him to us, she thought I was part of ICE, or which I'm not opposed. Don't get that wrong. Or a person who is going to try to kick him out of the country. So they're always on the edge. They're always thinking of the worst.
There's always a threat right
There's
around
always
the
a
corner.
threat.
Sure.
Something that a normal person who live in society, who works and pays taxes and has a house or doesn't have a house, stuff that we don't even think about. He's always thinking about, hey, why is this person being nice to me? Well, shoot, people are trying to be nice to you because we want to help out. We want to know your story, like what happened. Mm-hmm. You know, when I go to the gym in the morning, I mainly go so that I can hang out in the afternoon with the old people in the sauna. Mm-hmm. It's going to sound weird, right? I got all the old people. They're just naked, all old and wrinkly. And, but I'm there, dude. I'm like, these guys have done it, right? These guys are living a good life.
Yep.
80, 90 years old, playing racquetball, hanging out with me in the sauna. But all they want to do is tell you their story. And they're giving me, and anyone who wants to listen, a yellow brick road on how to succeed.
Totally.
And what not to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, dude, I'm the only person there taking notes in the sauna. I'm like, tell me more, Bob. Oh, really? Oh, you did that? Oh, don't do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
All you got to do is talk and ask the right questions.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's
really admirable. That you did that. I mean, just, giving the homeless a voice and allowing them to, express themselves. And I mean, I totally agree with you. It's Gary Vee talks about going to the,
yes.
He's like, if you want, if you really want to get motivated, go to a nursing home and look at what 90-year-old regret looks like and ask those people, what do you regret about your life? And they'll tell you those are the things that, I mean, that's the worst, right? Like 90-year-old regret.
That's the worst. And that's the main question I ask them. and they always tell me the same thing. They're all.
What is it?
They're all wealthy, right? They're all doing well.
Yep.
It's never money.
No. Should have spent more time with my family. Should have been nicer to my son.
100%.
Should have been less judgmental.
Yes.
I shouldn't have been, so afraid to be a dancer or whatever else the hell I wanted to do, right?
Yes.
Right.
It's they always want the youth back, right? So to me, I'm like, okay, my biggest flaw in life is not being present.
Yeah.
As a realtor, you're only as good as your next transaction, right?
Right. Yeah, so you're always looking ahead.
And so even when I'm on vacation, my wife always smacks me. Hello.
Here and now.
I need to be here and now. The only time I'm ever present is by water. But I need to be present because that's what they're telling me. Enjoy it right now.
Do you meditate?
I do it every once in a while. I do a lot of praying.
Practice mindfulness.
I need to do more of that.
Yeah. See, I'm like that too. It's funny too. I love the story that you tell. Really hits home for me because I got sober when I was 27. I'm 36 now, but I used to wind up in detox centers and psych wards and hospitals all the time back when I was drinking. And I used to be at Ramsey County Detox in St. Paul like every other night. And there was this guy there, and his name was Nick, and he used to get there like blacked out, blotto drunk, and he'd stay as long as he could, eat the food, get the Valium and whatever, and then they'd send him out. And he would, I remember talking to him, and I'd be like, I see you here all the time. And he was probably in his maybe 60s. And he would just leave and then go get a bottle and drink and then go cause a scene so he could wind up back in detox because, it's cold in winter in Minnesota and it's a roof over your head. But, he gave me I had like one of those come to Jesus moments almost with him where he was telling me, he's like, he couldn't walk. He's like, my liver's gone. He's like, I'm going to die any day. And he like looked me right in the eye and he's like, if you don't want to be this, then, you better get your shit straight. You know what I mean? Wow. So it was super impactful. Super powerful, and that wasn't even enough to sober me up at the time, but I eventually did get sober. But I think about that, and I think about him and the impact that your struggles can have on other people if you're just open and vulnerable and authentic about it. I think is just huge.
Vulnerable, that's huge. Like,
it really is. You can really change people's lives by opening up. So I love that you did that. And, to pivot a little bit into being a realtor, the presence thing, I think I know I suffer from that.
Yes.
I'm either feeling, guilty about something from last week or I'm stressed about what's coming up next, but very rarely in the present. But, I don't know. If you figure that one out, then give me a call and let me know.
That's my biggest weakness in life is being present. Mm-hmm. And that's something every day I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. And I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I will get that down and enjoy today because why do you want to freaking have $5 million and be dead in your retirement? People work so hard to retire. Or miserable. At the same sense, you got to be responsible, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, where's that fine line? Where can I just be here and be happy and not worry about tomorrow?
Well, so what drove you to get into real estate?
Oh man, do you want the long story or the short story?
Whatever story you want to tell, brother.
Okay, let's do the long story.
Let's go.
I started elementary, a school named Rose School.
Well, you are going all the way back.
Way back. Dude.
He's like, I was 5 years old.
I was
born.
It was a rainy Wednesday.
It was in second grade. I always looked around and I was extremely dark, even darker than I am now. I look around, I'm like, man, I'm the only dark person in here. Got real fat too. I was like 78 pounds, and I know that because on my soccer card it says 78 pounds, and I was really large. But the problem was I couldn't see. And I thought that was normal. So when the teacher would write on the board, I couldn't see.
Okay.
So I couldn't read. But what I was good at is memorizing stuff. So I got all the way through 5th grade just by memorizing what they told us because I would memorize what they would say. My tests, we had little bubbles back in the day, A, B, C, or D.
Yeah, I remember.
Answer was either B or C. So I had a 50% chance of passing, right? And what I would do when we would go into the nurse's room and we would look at the board for our eyesight, I was embarrassed because I couldn't freaking read. I would memorize what the guy in front of me said.
Wow.
A, C, B, D, A, C, B, D, D, M, F. And I would memorize it just to pass the test because I was embarrassed. So I really couldn't read till like 6th grade, which is something that no one knows about. But I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out how to pass and how to go on it. So I learned that. Fast forward to 15. My dad grew up in Texas, and he failed 1st and 2nd grade because he didn't speak English, and he was a cotton picker. Moved to California with his dad. Met my mom, and they got married. So my dad worked at the grocery store, and hardworking guy. He got me in the grocery store at 15. He had to be 16, but he pulled some strings. Okay. I was working at 15 and a half. I wanted to be the best bagger there ever was. I wanted to make my dad proud. Mm-hmm. Busted my ass. Was the best bagger. All of a sudden, Checkers, produce department, they want me because I'm killing everybody else because I want to impress my dad. Went to the produce department. 19 years old. I was the youngest produce manager ever in Albertsons at 19. I think we got merged with Lucky's at the time. At 24, 25, I was going to be the youngest district manager. But during that time, there's a clipboard in the back. It said, union rep. I'm like, what's a union rep? They're like, hey, we represent the people. I said, I'd be a fucking great union rep. I represent the people perfectly. So I went. There's like 300 people there. Mm-hmm. I'm 19 years old. And
you went to go be a union rep.
I went to be a union rep, right? Here's the story about this is the story that I tell people
about.
This
is legit.
This is like, I told you, we're going back. Okay, so 19 years old. I go there in my S2000, which the first year they came out, right? My Honda S2000, because I'm a produce manager. I've been making some money. I'm a young kid. Cruise up there. 300 people. Well, they limited 150 people instantly. I made the top 100. Now they eliminate 50 more. I'm top 50. Top 20, top 10, top 5, top 3. 19, right? So now I'm meeting with, there's like 5 reps there and 2 other people. So here's this 19-year-old punk with some adults, right? And I'm talking to them. I freaking nailed it, right? Nailed it. And they said, hey, name 3 people, past or present. I'm like, past or present? Like, who I want to meet? Like, one person? They're like, yeah. I'm like, Jesus. Well, what did I want to meet Jesus? Past or present? Like, he's going to tell me everything. Like, and then I just went off on the interview. I nailed the interview. So we ended the interview. I'm walking to my car. I'm outside walking. 3 of the ladies who were in the interview who were on the board came running up. One was crying. Like, what's going on? Why are you crying? She's like, you're freaking amazing. I'm like, so why are you crying? Like, what's going on?
Happy tears.
Yeah. I'm like, she said, you killed it. I'm like, awesome. She's like, we're so ecstatic to have you. I'm like, let's do it, right? But she said, but here's the whole story. We've already promised John, who's like 42 years old, he's got the next spot. But we're gonna promise you the next one. This is where my whole my Benny-ism is. I'm like, okay, well, awesome. Well, I'm like, well, was he better? No, you killed him. I said, well, hold on. You just say that I beat him? She said, oh yeah, we all agree you are the best. So the next spot's yours. I said, you just said I beat that guy. She said, yes, 100%. We all agree. But you're giving him the spot and I beat him. She said, yeah. I'm like, there will never be a next time. I will never work for you if you're telling me I'm better than that person, but you're giving him that spot just because. Well, this is a competition. I beat him. You just told me I beat him, and you're not going to use me. No, this is not what we're talking about. You got the next spot. I said, nah, there will be no next spot.
Yeah.
I'm 19. I will find a better spot. So that was the end of my union career. Right? Instantly, I can never work with a company that they do not give it to the best person. That's what I'm about. If you're the best, if you're better than me in real estate, you take my listing, take my buyer. You beat me. So fast forward, 24, 25, I'm a produce manager. I'm no longer going for a union rep. I would never apply for that again.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a district manager. Strike. There's a strike happening. I have 1, maybe 2 kids at the time. I'm not quite sure. Don't tell the wife. I have a house. But it's coming. The strike's coming. It's like a tidal wave.
Right.
We all know it's coming. So I went and got my real estate license, preparing for that to happen.
So it was like a just in case.
Just in case.
Got it.
And I already bought 1 or 2 homes and flipped them. I'm like, oh, this is some nice.
And you're how old? You're what?
I just turned 25 at the time, so I already bought a couple homes prior to that. I'm like, wow, this is nice, right? So I'm like, I better have this just in case. Strike came. I went out there. I held my sign for 2 weeks. I told the district manager, I said, hey, I'm giving you guys 2 weeks, and I will not do that again. I don't want to work for a company that's kicking the people out. And she's like, Benny, you have a huge future in here. Don't do anything dumb. I said, 2 weeks. 2 weeks came and went. I picked up the newspaper, because that's what we had back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is a Sunday. I said, who am I going to call? Real estate. Got my real estate license. Pacific Sun Properties. Guy named Mick Zentik. Great dude. Called him up. He said, be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. I went there. The guy said, hey, do you want to make $100,000? And back then, that was a lot of money. I said, yeah. What do I have to do? They drop off these flyers at every condo you know. So I looked at the flyer, and I was like, well, can I correct all your spelling errors? And all your, like, this is kind of embarrassing. Oh, yeah, make it your own. So I did that. No problem. Dropped it all off. Got a phone call. Some guy's like, hey, I want to see a home. I picked the guy up in my wife's Volvo. We're on the 15. She gave me her car. I give her my Denali. I said, I'm gonna use your car.
Yeah, well, the Volvos, that says, I'm a safe driver.
Yeah, safe driver, right?
Those Swedish cars,
First client ever. Jumped on the freeway, driving up to the next exit. My car went boom, 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 boom.
Oh.
He's like, did you run out of gas, Benny? No, we're not out of gas. Boom, 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 boom. Now we're out of gas. The guy's like 80 years old.
Yeah.
Pulled off to the side of the freeway. First time ever I'm showing a home I run out of gas on the side of the 15.
Man.
Cops came. I'm like, hey, called the wife. She dropped off my truck. She took over from there, showed him the home.
He bought
They
it.
bought the house.
I knew it. I was going to say awesome.
And I had to sell his house. And I did
that.
loans too. So I did sold his home, did the loan, and bought the home.
Wow. Cue the applause. Oh, no, that was the last. There we go. There we go. Love that. That's a great story.
So first deal, right? A triple bagger. And then now I'm dropping off flyers everywhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. Mm-hmm. So after 3 or 4 months, I doubled my income at Albertsons by helping people. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, the strike came, it was over. I went back for 2 weeks.
Like you said?
Like I
2
said,
weeks.
2 weeks. I called up my wife. I was like, what am I doing here? I'm like, I felt like I was helping people. I was making a difference, making way more money over there. She said, quit. And I've never quit anything in my life, ever. I don't quit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean quit? She's like, quit and do real estate. I believe in you. I'm like, all right. So I texted my district manager. He called me back instantly. He is weird because he knew. He's like, hey, tell me this isn't what my gut's telling me. Because I texted him at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, we got to talk. Yeah.
Yes. So he called me because we had pagers back then.
Yeah,
right?
oh, yeah, I remember.
He's like, hey, please tell me this isn't what my gut is telling me it is. I'm like, oh, it is. I'll be done here in a couple days. I'm done. I'm too young. I'm eager and I want to help people and I don't want to be stuck in this.
Yep.
I went upstairs, told my store director. He said, close the door. I'm like, oh, great. He's going to yell at me because he always yells at me. Right? Went up there. He said, sit down. I said, what's that, Mike? He said, when I started this business with your dad 40 years ago, we were doing night crew. He said, I thought I was just doing this for a week, 2 weeks, a month. I ended up doing this for my life. He said, I want you to make one promise to me. I said, what's that, Mike? When you go out the door, you never come back.
Wow.
I was like, oh. this guy cares about me.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm like, I'll never come back, dude. I'm going to make you that promise. He goes, don't ever come back to the grocery store. Go spread your wings.
Nice.
I was like, wow, this guy believes in me, you know? So then I went to Mick's office, did everything they said, made some good money. Then 2005 came around, 2006 came around, market dropped. Went from a young 25-year-old stud to making nothing.
Well, you were still a stud. You just were making nothing.
Making nothing.
Yeah.
But it was the best. That time right there was invaluable. What I learned, there's no money that could but that time frame. I understood what people went through, the pain they went through.
Yep.
People lost everything. Could you imagine if you're 50 or 60 years old losing everything and starting over? I was a young kid in $1 million home who lost it, you know. But I learned, I better start saving.
Yeah.
There is something called rainy days.
Right.
And there's always a cycle.
Yep.
And
Life happens.
That was the best learning experience of my life. That was losing everything, living in an apartment for 3 or 4 months, feeling like you're not a man was so horrible, but that was the best thing to ever happen to me. I always have that in my back pocket.
Yep.
If I don't want to make the phone calls, if I don't want to, if I want to feel lazy for the day, I remember that. And that's part of the whole thing of staying present.
Right.
Right?
Totally.
Like, oh, shoot, I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah, well, you can't appreciate the light without the dark, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of dark there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome. And that's good. You know, it's good to keep that in your, as long as you're not living there 24/7, it's good to keep that in your back pocket. Okay. Well, so then how does how does you do, you got your Bennyism. I love that phrase, by the way. It's good. Bennyism. So how do you, utilize the Bennyism in your real estate? You're a broker.
Yeah, I'm a real estate broker. So
you're doing it all.
So I don't do loans. But trust me, when I say I know loans, I know loans like the back of my hand because I did do them back in the day.
Yeah.
So when I meet different lenders, and if they don't know more than me, I won't use them. You need to know more than me. Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of real loan officers that are phenomenal that know way more than me.
Right.
Those are the guys I want to use for my clients. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
So as far as what was your question about my Bennyism? How do I?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're like you're obviously you're competitive.
Extremely.
You have to be the best.
Yes.
I know from you talking about how you roll and your passion and helping people and community and the importance of all that. What's the client experience? What's the buyer seller experience like? What do you feel that you do better than anybody else?
Simple. Okay. For sellers, when I meet with them, it's the same thing. Okay. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. I want to know what your goals are. Mm-hmm. What are your plans? After we get that, I put it in the back of my brain. Okay. That's what we're going to, that's the ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. So we walk around the house. We talk about it. We set a game plan. I do something. Well, realtors are catching on. They're copying me now. I hate to say that, but it's true. I had a system where I would meet with them. I'd bring my interior decorator. We'd walk through the whole house, tell them what to do.
Oh, cool.
And when can we take our pictures? I want the pictures to be done the day after they're ready. And I always want it done either the weekend. Mm-hmm. So we'll have this done Saturday, pictures done Sunday. I don't put the house on the market till Tuesday. Okay?
Got it.
House for sale Tuesday. I do not show the home till Saturday on a 3-hour window. What I'm doing then is I'm advertising for my open house for Saturday.
Yeah, you're priming everything up.
All the buyers are just driving by waiting, right? There's going to be about 4 or 5 good agents who can't make Saturday. Benny, I can't make your Saturday 12 to 3. You give me 3 hours, dude. Like, my clients want to see the house. I'll send them.
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to go without me. You're a good agent. So what do you want to do? Well, can I show it Thursday or Friday? Absolutely. So I'm going to tell everybody, hey, you know what? Friday, 12 o'clock, from 12 to 1, whoever can't make it, come on in.
Yep.
Boom. I have 4 agents who have eager buyers. They walk in there, hey, Benny, the price is $950. We want to offer you $1,050,000, but don't do the open house. Send me the offer. Put it on paper. Hey, Mr. Buyer, that's a phenomenal offer at $1,050,000. However, it's not good enough for me to not do the open house.
Ah, okay.
And guess what? What do I have in my back pocket? $1,050,000.
Yep.
The asking price is $950,000, right?
Yep.
Everybody comes in. I personally am there with my team. The reason why I'm there for that open house 12 to 3, there's a long line.
I'll bet.
They're coming in. This is the listing agent. I'm talking to the buyer's agent. I don't really care about the buyer's agent. I'm looking at the wife. The wife tells me everything. Her eyes say everything. Husband, does it have a garage? I'm good.
We are simple.
Simple-minded. It's got a garage. I'm
Right.
good, babe. What do you want? The wife is like, I need this house. So go back to the agent. The agent always comes back. Hey, Benny, hey, we're $1,050,000. Well, that's great. So I already got that in my back pocket.
Yep.
I tell him the same line. Listen, Mr. Buyer, agent, we're not going to counter you. I'm not going to counter you. Send me your highest and best offer. How about $1,070,000? That sounds phenomenal. Put it in paper. Send it to me.
And then you got that in your back pocket.
Back pocket. Next person, hey.
I see what you're doing. Nice.
Next person comes in. Dude, you're in an auction without knowing you're in an auction with me. Next person walks in. Oh, Benny, you don't have to say it. I know your wife loves it. The wife loves it. I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not going to counter you. Make your highest
Where
offer.
are you at? I'm like, we're high.
Yeah.
Well, you're like 1.2, 1. Hey, I'm not going to counter you, man. What number you at? 1.7? Oh, yeah, we already that. Yeah. Okay. We're like 1.1. Oh, now we're talking, but on paper. I'm not going to counter you.
Yep.
So then we're done, right? After open house, everyone says they're sending an offer. I got 15 offers up to 1.2. The asking price was $950, right? So now I got to look at the offers. Who's got the money? I don't care if someone's sending me an offer for 1.3 if they can't pay the gap. There's something that people need to understand. Market value and appraisal value.
Mm-hmm.
When the market's up, the market value is always higher than the appraisal value. So I'm going through all the offers. I want to determine who has money to pay the difference on the gap, the market value purchase price compared to what the appraisal price is. And it's usually $50,000 or $60,000.
Okay.
Mr. Agent, can you cover the difference if the house doesn't appraise? Let me talk to the buyer. Let me know because we're deciding tomorrow. Hey, Benny, we'll cover the difference. Thank you very much. You're top of the list. That's what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. And that's my strategy it's kind of, I actually feel bad. I tell a seller, yeah, we got 1.2, we're asking $950. I feel bad for those guys. They're in an auction. They just kept them bidding, you know.
Well, especially when you say, look, I'm not going to counter you. It like deflates it. They're like, okay, well, I got to go higher than what he's already got.
They're showing me all your cards.
Exactly. That's genius.
But now all the agents are copying me. I'm like, oh, man, I want to show the house. I can't show it the Saturday. You do it in my system. So
I like it. I was watching some of your videos, your IGTV videos too, and you're talking about market value and appraisal value, but you're also talking about sentimental value. Now, does that come in? Is that for the seller? That's like this how this is worth way more than that because I've lived here and I've got these mememories here. Well, tell me about sentimental value.
Okay. I tell you this, and I use this as kind of you have to. Okay, you got to break bread with a seller when you meet someone. Mm-hmm. You got to get them to laugh.
Definitely.
So I always explain what is value to you. There's 3 types of value: market value, appraisal value, sentimental value. When the market goes up, market value is way up here. Appraisal is going to use the comps for the last 6 months to current. What has sold? It's on paper. He's going to come up with a price. That's the appraisal. That's his opinion, which is ultimately the most important opinion because it's the bank, all right? They're the one that's going to give him the loan. Mr. Seller, let's talk about sentimental value. Okay, so you see your beautiful, what's that? Chest? Not chest. It's more, yes. Your beautiful box. The beautiful, what's that thing called? I can't. It's for bookshelf and
wardrobe.
Wardrobe, and you put your TV there on wall. Like it's huge, right? It's the size of the whole wall.
Right.
And they're like, guess what, Benny? We'll leave it for the buyer. My great-great-grandpa passed that down.
Yeah.
This thing is just so nice.
They're not going to want
that.
Mr.
and Mrs. Seller, you see an invaluable thing there, correct? Yes, it's so nice. You know what the buyers see? What? Firewood.
Yeah.
Please get rid of that.
Yeah.
Sentimental value is worthless in real estate.
Yeah.
And so that's like always like my punchline.
Totally.
Sentimental, no, get rid of that thing. Wood is out. You know, it's just firewood. Mm-hmm. So that's, you know.
Yeah, and that's part of your job, right? I mean, if you didn't tell it to them straight, then you wouldn't be serving them to the best of your ability.
You know, positive, negative, I always got to give them the truth. So
I love that, man. That's great. And you know, I think now it's like on the record what your strategy is here. So hey, look, imitation is the highest form of flattery. So keep that one in your back pocket too, you know, since people are copying you. But I want to talk a little bit about technology. I mean, you know, the big buzzwords, systems and Marcom and all this kind of stuff. Are you an old school guy, or do you know, it's C2C pivot?
It's Pivot now.
Pivot.
It was C2C Realty. That was my real estate company.
Okay.
I accidentally got into Pivot, which is the craziest story. How I got in there with them, you know, Courtney got me in there. I flew out to San Francisco, okay, because that's where their base is, and they are a newer, huge, strong brokerage that wants to come out strong, but their angle, we're only taking top producers,
okay,
and teams. You can't just join side. It's called side brokerage. No one knows what side is. Side gets the top agent,
okay,
makes their company a boutique real estate company in their name, in their vision,
wow.
powered by side.
Okay.
So I went there. I flew up there. I'm like, they're going to fly me to San Francisco. This is right before COVID, like, went crazy. This is like February last year. I flew up there, sat down, and these guys just wowed me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Just envision a bunch of nerds in the background concentrating on you to help your customers.
Yeah, who wouldn't want that?
I'm like, wow, this is nice. This is pretty nice. So then I came home, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, and they're like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it later on. And then all of a sudden, a week passed, nothing was gonna happen. Brian, who was the actual person who connected us, DocuSigned my contract with Side to form Pivot. All right, well, I'm doing fine. My transaction coordinator sent me a bunch of papers to DocuSign, and hands up, you know, I trust her with my heart, so whatever she sends, I'm just going to sign. On DocuSign, it says, do you want to sign your next paper? Okay. So click, 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 click. Next thing you know, congratulations, you joined Side. I'm like, what did I just sign? This is the craziest story. This is the truth, man. So then Brian from Side calls me up. He's like, oh, man, I didn't think you were going to join. Congratulations.
And you weren't intending to join?
And I was like, I joined what? He goes, dude, you joined Side. I'm so excited. I gave you 50-50 chance. I wasn't sure if we were going to bring you. I'm like, what did I do? He's like, yeah, you're awesome. I'm like, but I'm such a believer in signs. I'm like,
yeah,
you know what, dude? Maybe this was supposed to happen. Let's go all in. I'm in. Complete accident.
Wow.
Joined with them. We formed Pivot.
Right.
And these guys have been amazing.
You've seen increases. So
Dude,
what's the edge with Pivot as opposed to how you're like?
Okay,
yeah.
with Pivot, like I have everything at my fingertips.
So all the marketing, social
boom.
media stuff,
Social. Click.
Is it good though, or is it generic? Like I've seen a lot of real.
It's. I mean, obviously, there's gonna be some generic stuff because everybody has it at their fingertips.
Yeah, I don't mean like everything is generic. But you know, like you see a lot of the realtor marketing, and it's kind of like, you know, everybody's talking about systems, and here's your template and your snippets and everything. So
right.
You know,
but with them, I have a conference call with them every Friday. I have a real estate meeting with my real estate coach on Monday. We just all work as a team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where are we at? Okay, hey, let's form a Facebook group called Everything Escondido. Let's advertise to your home city.
Yep, of course.
So
well, what it's really all about now too, man, is, you know, I mean, just like we were talking about, authentic connection,
yes,
person to person. People that want to do business with companies, they want to do business with people, and they're not going to do business with you unless they know, like, and trust you. And they can't know, like, and trust you unless you have some sort of presence. So if you have, like, you know, a real estate group, people, they automatically like, okay, this guy's going to try to sell me a house.
Yeah.
If it's Everything Escondido, completely different story. It's no, you're a person, I'm a person. This is what I like. This is what you like. Oh, by the way, at some point, this is what I do, and I'm passionate about it.
You just
right?
nailed me. So with everything Escondido, like I'm all about, I'm 150% about giving back to the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell with your
like every Thursday I meet with my pastor, and we go over stuff and how we can help. And he asked me a question. He's like, "Why do you like giving back so much?" And this is gonna sound weird, dude. I'm an only child.
Mm-hmm.
I said I give back selfishly. He's like, what does that mean? I said, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's where it is, man.
Like I feel good when like I don't like if I have money, take it. Like I just feel good by helping people out. And I'm blessed to do something that I love to do. That's enabled me to coach, be a husband, be a father.
Yes.
And I'm able to pay my bills and live a great lifestyle and take days off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need more. So people are like, oh, hey, let's try to go up the way up here. I'm like, I don't want to make that much. I don't need that. But if I do, who can we help?
That's also, I mean, what you just said is that's a spiritual thing. Right there, you know, I mean, that grows you spiritually when you have that mindset and that mentality of it makes me feel good when I'm giving to others.
It does,
which is, I mean, it's crazy because you know, like I'm again, like I have this parallel about you know when you're in sobriety, when you're in programs. I'm heavily involved in Alcoholics Anonymous, and basically the primary purpose of that is to work with other people and to help them sober up and to be of service. And people are always like, oh man, like, you're this like altruistic guy and you love service. And it's like, dude, that's where I don't do it because I'm a good person. I do it because that's where the dope is. I want to stay sober. That's the good dope, man. I gotta be plugged into God. Otherwise, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna wind up in a deep, dark hole.
Yes.
So it's selfish, but it's also being of service.
It is. And people don't understand that. I'm like, yeah, I feel freaking, I get this crazy, great feeling that I want to keep on going. Like, all you got to do is just give, and then all of a sudden, you're receiving tenfold. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I feel that who else can we help? Mm-hmm. Like, we're trying to find a person, like, who can we surprise and help and help their kids with, like, thousands of dollars of presents. Yep. Just surprise them, and we have that coming up.
Yep.
We're just gonna surprise someone. We just need a cool videographer to videotape it and get the reaction. The homeless people. We did this one thing where we got 5,000 people on everything Escondido. I did a gold coin, and we did find the Willy Wonka the gold ticket. And so we had the whole city looking.
Dude,
for
I'm gonna
it.
join that group.
I'm
gonna join it, man. Yeah,
we're fun. Like,
sounds like it.
Just save the drama. Like, if you're drama, don't come to our group. We're all about having fun and how can we help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so speaking of that, being of service, the things you're doing differently, giving back, personal relationships, authenticity, where do you see real estate, in the next 10 to 20 years with people's attention spans going down and content going up and the tech and all these, Amazon and God knows, Redfin and all the discount brokerages, Zillow. How is this going to change? Like, what do you think is going to change?
Well, let's talk about Zillow. How many transactions have I lost to Zillow?
I would say 0.
No.
A lot.
A couple. And let me tell you why. Zillow doesn't understand the market too much, and now they have a new program where they buy your home, and no one's going to want to hear this.
Right. I've heard.
I went to 2 clients. They're like, hey, Benny, I have an offer from Zillow for $760. I said, can I please review your offer?
Right.
And I looked at it, and I saw the fees, and I did the math, and I was like, you know what? If I were you, I would say, where do I sign? Well, what does that do with you, Benny? I'm like, what it does for me, it means I'm out. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, this is a phenomenal deal, and they're making a mistake buying the house at that price, but let them.
Yeah, it's a good deal for them.
It's a good deal for you. I'm 100% what's best for my clients. Whether it's with me or without me, what's best for you is the best thing for you. And so when I saw some of these offers they're getting, Zillow will correct it. They're not there to lose money. Let's call a spade a spade. You got there early, they messed up, they're buying homes they can't get rid of. But hey, congratulations. Sign. Okay, and I've seen some horrible ones as well. Where they're charging them, here's your offer for $680, but we're charging you 5% for repair fees, 3% for whatever fee,
Yeah.
2%, like, and that adds up to 15%. I'm like,
sure.
hey, all of a sudden you got $80,000.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense, and I'm going to beat their price.
Right.
Okay? But don't get me wrong. If you get something that looks good and it means me being zeroed out, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't need the business. I do like the truth. I do like helping people. And maybe you'll tell your friend, hey, you know what, Benny said to take this offer, and he was right. And he wasn't like the other people saying don't take it because they want the commission. No, it's never about the money. The money flows, money comes, but don't go chasing it. So, I mean, that's me to a T right there.
So do you think we'll see more of that type of
100%.
stuff going on with
100%,
big tech
dude.
companies and Zillow and Trulia and all these types of...
When they first coming out with the Zillow program, the iBuy program, the iBuyers, I mean, they were literally on the chart like at a 1%.
Yeah.
Now they're like 12%. So that's...
So how does the agent stay ahead of it?
The agent needs to understand the market completely. Zillow will correct itself, and they're not going to keep on offering them a crazy amount of money. So what can I do that Zillow can't do? I'm going to beat the price. I'm going to beat your net. Yeah, Benny, but you charge this much money. I don't care how much I charge you if I'm going to net you more than they will. I had a person. I went to an interview one time, and I never ever get a question on commission. Right? I charge full price. Only because I know what I'm worth. I do it for free, but the truth is understand your value. Like I teach my kids, you need to know your worth. If you don't know your worth, don't do it. Like you need to know what you're worth. And so when I go to a conference, a general conference, I always tell them what my fee is. And so when someone says, yeah, well, hey, he'll do it for less, absolutely. Let's look at our net sheet. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that open house. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to talk to the agent. And the number I show you on a net sheet is going to be absolute worst scenario. I'm going to beat that number tenfold. I'm not going to show you the best number here like they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the worst
Right,
number.
you'd rather under promise and over deliver.
And I'm going to destroy this, and you're going to be so ecstatic. I always tell the people, picture Mangata. That's my phase. No one knows what Mangata is. I don't even know if it's even a word. All right, it's some kind of word, and what it is it's the road-like reflection on a river or the ocean when the moon's coming down. So picture 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, it's getting darker, but then the moon's coming down over the ocean. You see that reflection.
Yeah.
That's called Mangata.
Yeah.
And I tell people that feeling you get, the presence, I'm present right there. You're relaxed. You're at ease. You're at peace. You're present. That's the feeling you get when I list your home.
Man, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to close it out. So you guys heard it right here from Benny Charles, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Really, really had a good time. Tony, what do you think, man?
Very insightful, man. That's a great story. I really loved your background story and all the tips that you give. I think it's awesome, man. Yeah, I really do. I really do like it.
Is that a Raider hat?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
It's not.
Brixton.
It's a surf hat, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just saw it. Like
It's a nice hat.
It's
but
a nice hat. Yeah.
Gray and black. that.
It's dangerous,
You
right?
never know.
It's a dangerous.
Never know.
It's a dangerous move. Right. Yeah.
So Benny, how can we get a hold of you? Where
Okay.
can we find your content? How look into the camera, let the people know.
Okay, here's my cell phone. If people still use that anymore, 760-703-3898. That's my direct number. Instagram, it's going to sound weird, Benny, the letter C as in cat, Tosea. So Benny C2C. I used to be Benny C2C Realty. Now I'm Pivot. Facebook, Benny Charles. I think
You got two first names like Ricky Bobby.
Dude, Benny Charles. Edward. Benny Edward Charles. I got 3.
Benny Edward Charles.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that. So Facebook, I'm huge. But go to our Facebook group, Everything Escondido. We have a huge group there. Everyone's cool. There's no drama. Oh my gosh, there's some other groups that are full of drama. No drama allowed here. You're gone. I will message you. I'm like, hey, dude, can you ease up on the verbiage because I'm gonna get in trouble from Uncle whatever his name is, Zackenberg.
Uncle Zuck.
Uncle Zuck.
Zuck.
He's already threatening me. He's gonna cancel my page. So please, easy on the F-bombs.
Yeah.
Come on.
For sure.
You know,
Keep it classy.
keep it classy, man. Just everybody's here, cool and relax and enjoying life.
Awesome. Well, yeah. All right, everybody. So then check out Benny Charles. Check him out online. If you're going to sell your home, he's definitely a great way to go. If you guys like this episode of What's Next, make sure you check us out at www.thewhatsnextpod.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook at the What's Next Pod, and you can check us out on YouTube as well. Like, follow, subscribe, and share. Thanks a lot again, Benny. Pleasure to have you here. Tony, any parting words before we roll out here?
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for sharing your story, man.
Brother, I appreciate it, man. I felt very at home here. I wasn't nervous for the first time ever.
That was great.
We should have him a second time.
We'll do round two.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe it was the 8 shots you guys gave me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
That's we bring people in here,
Yeah.
feed them booze, put them in that chair, and let's talk.
Levi, you guys can see him, but Levi makes the best drinks.
Hey, before we go,
at the house.
hey, happy birthday, Levi.
Yeah,
birthday, Levi.
Happy
Hey,
birthday,
hey.
Levi Quesada as well.
Hey, 41? Bro, you look like you're 25. I got to keep you away from all the ladies over here. Right?
Yeah.
This guy's a stud.
It's true. It's true. He's the one who gets all the drinks and the snacks, and I mean he really puts the icing on the cake here. Takes pictures, shoots content. So it's really a 3-man operation here. So
You guys rock, dude. I love it.
awesome. All right. Well, if that's all that we've got, then let's do this. Tony, take us out.
We sit down with real estate agents